Hi, thank you so much for joining me today for my process video. And today I'm scrapping a photo of my lovely friend Julie, who came for a visit yesterday, which was Friday. You'll be seeing this on Sunday, so a couple of days ago. And we went out to a local farm shop for lunch, which was glorious. And so I wanted to document that. Now I've grabbed my Acorn Lane papers because obviously this photo was taken in the autumn and I wanted to use those. So it's a picture of Julie with her eggs Benedict. That was what we both ate. It was so delicious. And I'm just grabbing this hexagon paper and tearing a long corner off the side, the left-hand side, and then just rolling up the edges just so that you can see a little bit of that blue peeking out from underneath, which is the reverse of that paper. I'm so sorry about the glare on the photo. It's a glossy photo that I printed. Hopefully there won't be too much of that throughout the video. So I've just taken a pencil and I'm just drawing a line where the photo and the paper is going to sit because I want to do some mixed media behind. So I've grabbed my Inklings Oaky Bear Blue. Just going to add some water there. I leave it for 30 seconds or so. I've cut that out of the video because that would be pretty boring. And just mixing it together, and I'm just going to pour it over the right hand side of the page next to the pencil line. So I'm grabbing some packaging and just smearing that out right the way down that line, just so that it peeks out from underneath that paper that I've torn, and then I've got some splatters as well. Now I leave this to dry for a little bit, and then I do come in with my kitchen roll and roll up the excess water just so that I can go in with another colour. So just making sure that I'm happy with the positioning of the paint, and also that it's there aren't too many lines on it. You can see when you use packaging it does create some lines, so I'm just trying to avoid that too much. And then the next Inklings I grab is called Good as Gold. So I've just added some water to that, and then, like I say, I've sopped up the excess water from that blue, and now I'm adding the gold. I wanted the blue to be dry because obviously adding a yellowy gold to blue would create green. So I'm just being careful to make sure everything was dry. Now I added that, but I don't think I left the water long enough to mix in with the paint, so it's quite a pale, watered down gold that I've got there. So I decided to just mop it up. Got a little bit of gold showing, and then I'll come in with some more gold splatters at the end. So I'm just going to map my photo on some white cardstock. This was a 4x6 photo which I've just trimmed down, so it's still 4 inches wide, but I've just trimmed down the height a little bit. I wanted a square photo, but I couldn't do that. I didn't want to cut any more of the subject out, so it's probably about 4 by 4.5, something like that. So I'm adding this white border, and then I'm going to come in with some tissue paper just to add it just takes down the colour of the paper that I'm going to add behind, because I wanted to add one of the navy blues, but I didn't want it to look too stark next to that photo because there's not a lot of blue in there apart from the background where you can see outside. I didn't want the blue to dominate, and I've already got the blue in that Inklings that I've added as my mixed media. So just trimming down roughly, trimming down the tissue paper. I didn't want too big of a border, and I definitely didn't want it to be straight lines, so I'm using my cutter bees just to trim that down. And then I shall come in with this beautiful checked paper. As you can see, it's blues and golds, so it works really nicely with the colour palette that I'm working with. And then I'll just trim that down. Now I wanted to keep a piece of this paper as 12 inches, and that's why I've trimmed it this way round. I used to just try and cut the shortest edge, but I've realised that I do use a lot of 12-inch papers, so I'm much better keeping 12 inches for as long as I can when I cut papers down. So that was my reasoning behind the way I cut that. So just adding that photo to that mat, and then I'm going to use my edge distresser just to distress all those edges. I just like the look of it, this distressed look at the moment. I'm sure that will change. Our tastes definitely change, don't they, through the years, but at the moment I'm really enjoying this. So I'm going to get that paper stuck back down, and I am going to map the photo onto some foam pads shortly, but just using my PVA just to get that piece of paper stuck down. And then I'm going to come in and embellish with the floral ephemera pack from this collection. So here I am with those foam pads. These are the Sticks 2 25mm foam pads. I absolutely love them. If you watch my videos in the past, you'll know how great they are. And I just wanted to raise that photo up to make it the main focus of the layout because it's going to get quite busy with this ephemera, and also to bridge that gap over the rolled edge of paper that I've got there. So just bringing in some of these ephemera pieces. I've got one of the moths at the top and then a floral cluster to the left, and then I want to bring in another floral cluster to the bottom right. Just trying a few different pieces out. I really like that leaf sprig, but I didn't like all the white card and I didn't really have the energy to trim it all off, so I've just left that to one side for now. Love that maple leaf, so that's going to go in there as well. And then I'm going in with the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, and I find a little floral cluster of fussy cut from one of the printed papers. So I'm just going to add that to the left hand side, and then I want to bring in some stickers to the right. So I've got this one that says eat, drink and give, and then the mustard coloured one is being together, which I thought worked really nicely. So now the foam stickers, and I found one that says November, and obviously it is November at the moment, so I thought that would work nicely above the photo. So I'll just add that up there. And at this point I realised that I haven't actually stuck the photo down, so I think it's probably time to get that situated. So I stick that foam sticker where I'm happy with it, and then I'm just going to peel off the backing off those foam pads and get the photo stuck down. Then I can start going around and sticking down the florals that I've added so far. So just pulling that bit off slightly because I've managed to trap it under the foam pad. And it's at this point I think that I start thinking, right, time to get things glued. So starting with this moth, I bend up the wings and just add glue to the body. I will go back in and add some foam pads under its wings just to keep them flying. And then I'm just roughing up some of the edges on this cluster just to keep it like the photo mat really. You know, I've roughed up the edges of that, so I just wanted these clusters to look in keeping with that as well. So now adding this one. Again, just bending up bits and pieces, buffing it up, adding a foam pad or two behind certain bits just to make them stand up and give dimension to the layout. So again, a foam pad on this green leaf, but I'll tuck the stem underneath the cluster there, so the stem lays flat on the page. So here I am with those foam pads, as I mentioned, just adding those under the moth wings. These again are from Sticks 2, once again on a big foam roll, but they're 6mm wide, so great if you need something thinner. So now coming in with the alphabet stickers from the sticker book, and I'm just spelling out lunch at with these tile alphabets, and then I'm bringing in an American Crafts foam sticker sheet. I'm pretty sure these foam thickers are from Woodland Grove, and they're gorgeous. It's got like an iridescent white. They're all on pink foam, iridescent white, which I'll use to spell the word the, and then there's a gold which I'll use to spell Hollies. And because there's so much pink in this collection, that works really nicely. And I love bringing gold in for autumn. I think it just works, doesn't it? And we've got all these mustards in the collection as well. So just spelling out there. I will move those alphabets. I decide that the word the looks better to the right hand side near that cluster of flowers, but for now I'm just positioning the stickers roughly where I want them to go, and then I can move them about as I need to. Because it's on the mixed media, they are quite easy to peel up and stick back down without pulling the cardstock up as well. So just spelling out the word Hollies, which is where we were. That was the farm shop. It's called the Hollies, and it's just outside Warrington, so really handy. And then bringing in my T-square ruler because I knew they weren't straight. So I decided just to straighten everything up. So I'm happy with the positioning of the word Hollies, but like I say, I decided to move the word the over to the right, and then I needed something to bridge that gap on the left-hand side of the word. So I go into the sticker book and I find a lovely oak leaf with some red berries on, which is just the right size to fit in that gap. So just flicking through to see what I can see, and this is where I see that oak leaf just there in the middle. So I need to pull up the letter H just to get that stuck down underneath it, and then I can put the H back on again. So it's starting to come together. I'm really liking the shape of the layout. I just felt that there was a bit too much of a white gap there on the left hand side, so just adding this sprig. And because it's on the white, you don't notice those white bits in the middle, so I didn't need to cut those off. Coming in with my T-square ruler just to check that these word phrases are straight. And because I pulled that up a couple of times, I just wanted to add some glue behind it to make sure it sticks properly. And I know I want to bring something else in above that. So just having a look to see what else I can see. And I find this phrase sticker that says fall is in the air. Obviously we don't call it fall, we call it autumn here, but that's fine. I'm not that much of a pedant that I can't use it. So a couple of hearts just to finish off that right hand side. I feel it fills in that gap nicely to the right of the photo. And then I'm going to come in with my journaling at the bottom, and it's only a tiny bit of journaling, and I just wrote a lovely lunch out with Julie at the Hollies just because. And that's it. And then I'll add my roller date stamp underneath that to put the date, which was 17th. And we're nearly there. Just having a look to see that I'm happy with everything, and notice that that floral wasn't stuck down. So just adding some glue to that, and I add it a bit further down than I had it originally, so I decided to bring in another floral just to balance it out really. There we are. And now coming in with some of these lovely gold, they're like faux glitter stickers that I've got an abundance of. I think I got them from the range years and years ago. Well, actually, I think Leanne got them for me from the range years and years ago. So just adding a few of those dotted around the page. They're nice and flat on the page, but they bring some brilliant sparkle in. So just all the way around the photo at various places. And now I'm going to come in with that gold watercolour that I mentioned before. So just adding some water to that, and then I shall add some big splatters all the way around. Just like that, and that's pretty much the layout done. So wait for the big reveal. Thank you so much for joining me. Please ask any questions you have. Give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I shall see you again Tuesday. Thanks again. Bye.